In May, New York City announced it was constructing ferries for a new service between all the boroughs except Staten Island. By 2018, the city hopes to have all 20 of the newly built passenger and bicycle-only vessels on the water. This is all part of a $325 million effort to refloat the city's waterborne mass transit system. Jim Wunderman is CEO of the Bay Area Council. He just returned from New York, where he learned more about their ferry expansion program, and he joins us live this morning. Jim, it's good to see you again.
Yeah. Morning.
You know, New York City, I like it. I go there a lot. It's so easy to get around without your car, and I think by necessity, you can't really bring your car. So they have had to think of other ways. We have a easier job with cars here. Think that's going to stifle the creation of other ways of transportation like ferries? Because it's so easy to drive, you know?
Well, yeah, real easy. You know, every time I hear the traffic report, you guys are saying there's nothing going on out there. So,
good point.
You know, New York and the Bay Area have in common very strong economies and a lot of traffic congestion. And just being back there for a week, it's a great city, but it is hard to get around whether you're trying to drive in a cab or you're on the subway. And so the idea of putting in ferry service, same idea we have here, it really is something for the time. And they're very aggressive about it, and they've put in this program, and they're actually rolling it out on short order. And we got to ride the ferry that was just announced a short time ago. Here in the Bay Area, you know, we're doing the same thing. We've been at this for about 20 years. We've made a lot of progress. We still have a ways to go to have a truly robust regional system in place.
Ridership on the San Francisco ferry system has jumped about 74% over the past 5 years. How do you get those people who live in Antioch, Livermore, Cotati? My issue, and I do live in the East Bay, is that I will take one form of mass transit. If you're telling me to take BART to then get on the ferry, that's a bit of a barrier for me and many others.
Well, first of all, we need to have enough service that's running so people can feel they don't, if they just miss it, they don't have to wait an hour.
Right.
At least make it easier in that way. And in New York, they're just running the service. It's every 20 minutes. You miss one, you get the next. Here in the Bay Area, in a lot of cases, you know, it's not that way, and some of it, it's only commuter times only, so it's not as convenient. I think there's a lot of new ways to get to the ferry with the rideshare programs, so we're seeing a lot of that. If you go by the ferry terminals, you'll see a lot of people showing up in Ubers and Lyfts and chariots and other ways, so it's still not quite as convenient as just getting in your car and going all the way, but being able to utilize mass transit rather than a single occupant vehicle is something we need to focus on.
If I had a ferry that was nonstop from the North Bay to Jack London Square, I would take it every day if I could.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the hours and the ability to do that, so I feel like we just need more options to be there. What's your vision for it? Because I mean, we have this natural estuary that personally I feel we don't utilize.
Well, we used to have back before the bridges were constructed, we had 55 million ferry rides in the Bay Area per year. Now we're at about 7 million between Golden Gate and WIDA, which is the board that I serve on. And as you mentioned, it's increasing. So the demand is up there. People really enjoy a ferry ride. You know, there's
it is lovely. I will give you that.
There's a bit of a romanticism around ferries, but the fact is they provide serious transportation. If we could double that service again that we provide for the East Bay service that we intend to send to the South Bay, we could actually eliminate about a lane and a half of traffic use on the Bay Bridge in the commute hour. It's significant.
Here's what I see as an obstacle. New York City's all one city. They have one MTA. They have a bigger tax base. So they can do things. They're going to do it. They have 20 million people. We have about 6 or 7 million people, and all kinds of different agencies have to coordinate to get something done. How can you get over that?
Well, this is the story of the Bay Area Council. You know, we created the BART system back in the 1950s. By bringing people together, getting the mayors of the bigger cities, as well as other mayors, as well as leaders from the legislature, and opinion leaders, other groups, to all come together around a common vision. It's harder to do it when you have 9 counties and 101 cities, but the people of the Bay Area are visionary people, they're innovative people, and they're people who enjoy a good quality of life. So it's a hard job, but that's why our organization was created, and we're working on it.
You need money. I mean, you guys pushed a lot for the Caltrain, the electrification, to get those hundreds of millions of dollars, which we recently found out Caltrain is getting. Do we need that kind of money injected into the Bay Area in order to actually execute what you guys envision here?
Yeah, you know, it's been a good year in that we got finally, after over 20 years, a gas tax passed in the legislature. We got the BART bond to fix BART passed, $3.5 billion to bring it to a state of good repair. And now with the Caltrain money, finally, that was really hard work to get that final piece of money together for electrification. It's been a good year so far for transportation, but there's much more to do. And yesterday, Mayor Garcetti was in town talking to us about what they've done in LA, $120 billion over 40 years to rebuild LA's light rail system and other projects. So we're thinking big. You know, we need to have the same kind of vision that they've had down in LA, and we need to be able to affect change the way they do in New York without some of New York's advantage where you have a mayor that can just say, you know, let's go do this. Right. We need to bring people together. But it's going to take a lot of money. We're looking at bridge tolls. You know, we have those already. They're the core funding mechanism for ferry operating. High, oh, yeah. The Verrazano Bridge, I think it's $20 each way in New York. So compared
to that, we're okay.
They're higher than people would like them to be, but you know, transportation is not free, and getting people out of their cars is really important. Yeah. So where there's a nexus between, you know, bridge traffic and other means to keep people out of their cars, we need to pursue that. Nothing's free.
Right. We know that.
Yeah,
Jim Wunderman of the Bay Area Council.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Of course. Coming up.